Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing this morning?
You guys got to tell me where you get such wonderful intro, because I mean, who wouldn't want a bunch of women kicking ass first thing in the morning?
I gotta tell you, it's this great guy. He works so hard every day of the week. He just managed to squeeze that in and do that for us. It was just so marvelous.
I got to get an intro like that. I really do. With a whole bunch of women just beating the shit out of people. I mean, it's that.
Guys, I just have to ask you, how much longer before you're monetized?
We're working on it.
Mm-hmm. Should be very, very. You guys should be so close. You're so close.
Yeah.
You almost touch it.
Yeah. Well, I could almost touch it the other day, but I've been afraid to look at our analytics.
If Steve Irwin was here, he'd be like, "Come on, everybody, we're gonna poke it with a stick."
Danger, danger.
Oh my God. Well, we should hopefully have in the next day or two have something to announce, because I'm going to be crunching those numbers with Purple today and seeing where we are, and hopefully we're there. And I'm shaking right now. You guys asked me about that. I just started to shake. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous.
So close.
We're so close.
Yet so far.
Hopefully not that far, Dave Bob.
Everyone gather around monetization's right there. We're gonna poke it with a stick.
Thank you, Steve Irwin.
Thank you, Steve. Should we say good morning to everyone?
Yes, we should. Teleroth A is the first one in the chat, at least that I see. I didn't see anybody else this morning. I don't know if Colin P. Smith was actually there first, or if
Chris
Teleroth
was.
A. Was it Chris again?
I think it was Chris at about 1 o'clock this morning.
Oh my goodness. Darth Haster, thank you for wrenching for us today, hun. Oh my gosh. Who else is joining us? Scrolling down. There's Colin. And Dave Bob is here. Of course, he's on the panel. The Jester of Sin, Generalissimo Hefe. He's listening from across the hall. I know he's on the phone with England right now. Psycho Dwarf 9. Hello again, handsome. How are you? Sentient Dildo is here. Good morning. Buzz, buzz, buzz. There's Chris. I knew he was there somewhere. And Project Storytime got his notification. So did Derek McManus.
Hey, cool.
And Dr. Hercumonkey. I hope I said that right.
Welcome. Good to see you.
Did I use the wrong accent, Chris? I am sorry. I'm sorry.
Danger, danger.
Danger.
This is one of the most dangerous animals in the kingdom. I'm going to poke it with a stick.
Captain Spire, good morning. Andrej Merrick. I never want to screw that up. Jim the Viking, good morning. Salutations, fellow Vikings. Skål, Jim the Viking. I got my coffee.
Skål. Good morning, Low Spec Linux Laptop. Good to see you.
Oh, good morning. I didn't see. My chat just skipped, so it's
Captain
just like,
Spire, welcome, good morning. Mark the Infinitely Tired, hello, love.
No, he's actually perpetually pooped.
And Project Storytime. I have to wish him a happy belated birthday. His birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Project Storytime. Hope
Happy
you had a good
birthday,
day.
Josh. Happy birthday, brother.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Birthdays all around. January seems to be a busy month. It's like what was going on in the early to late 70s, early to mid 70s.
Well, could you guys agree that because of things like the Expanse, because of things like WandaVision, because of even Cobra Kai, because I'm on my second or third watch of Cobra Kai now.
Yeah.
That has kind of alleviated some of the crap that's been going on in the real world. There's been so much crap, and I'm not going to get into specifics because nobody wants to talk about that. But it has alleviated that somewhat. I mean, it's like you can focus on something and not worry about that for all 5 minutes.
Something you can fall back on for a short time.
Yes.
Yes, and I think that's what we needed, especially given what's going on at the moment. But you're right, there's been quite a few shows in the last 6 weeks or so that people can get behind and enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah. Finally.
That aren't ramming bullshit current day crap down our throats.
Yeah. Well, not with a jackhammer, at least. I mean, there's some current day stuff, of course, in the Expanse, but it just happens to coincide with all of that, with anything that's going on. But yeah, they're not ramming it down our throats with a jackhammer.
Yep.
Project Storytime.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry. I wasn't trying to.
No, that's okay, honey. Project Storytime says it was a nice day. I fell asleep watching a movie. Guess I'm officially old now. I will challenge you to that. Since my birthday was just a couple weeks ago and I turned 50. We'll talk about old another time, Josh.
Morning, Rambling Canuck.
Good morning, Canuck.
Good morning.
How are you?
Morning, brother.
Good morning, Battle Hymn 63. Good to see you guys.
Oh, good morning.
Mark got perpetually pooped for real now.
Okay. Now it's fixed. That's amazing. Speaker for the Dead, good morning. You struggled through this one too? Just like the last one. I liked it, but something is still off. I got that on my third watch through this morning. Something just seems wrong. Of course, I said that about WandaVision as well, but something just seems, off. That's the best way to put it, Speaker.
This episode was really hard to watch, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yes, I look at this episode as like two halves. There was one that was solely focused on Naomi, and then there's the other half which I found more interesting, which was based on everybody else.
Yeah.
And it was honestly when we would break away from the scenes with Naomi that my interest would pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was uninteresting. I mean, it was interesting.
Watch, rinse, repeat.
Exactly. That's what you said earlier, Dave Bob. It was wash, rinse, repeat. And I think I look at it, these two episodes were two pieces of a whole. They were weaker. Yes, Derek McManus. They did move the story along, but slowly, and they've got a different director. They've brought in a young lady to direct these two episodes, and her perspective seems skewed to me than the other directors they've had working on the series.
This episode at least had a little bit more action than the one last week.
Yes.
But I think at least the last 15 minutes were quite slow.
Yes. What did you say? It was a lot of exposition last week, where we had a little less exposition this week and a whole lot more going on. it wasn't just about what was happening on Inaros' ship and Naomi. But for some reason, this director has chosen, and the writers have chosen to really focus on her, on Naomi for these 2 pieces of the arc. I'm not completely bored with it, but it got to be a little tedious. I was more excited to see Avasarala and, the new Secretary General.
For all of 5 seconds, right?
For all of 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a decent segment where he kind of rallied the troops, but I got a funny feeling about him.
That general, I think, is kind of pushing him towards that attack on Palace.
Mm-hmm. He really is.
Admiral.
Even we said when we were watching it, he's making the speech, but it doesn't seem like it's a speech that's come from him. It's like it's something he's been trained to say.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely a speech writer wrote that for him.
Well, it was Avasarala.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt about it. And like, those are words coming out of Christian's mouth, not his.
Yeah, but I don't think she actually wrote it. Because,
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither. But
it was right up her alley.
Yeah, that was something she would have actually said. Now, would she agree to attacking Palace? No. Not really.
Colin P. Smith. I wanted the same thing.
Oh, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, please shoot her. Sorry, I was sipping my coffee, guys. Sorry about that. But I want to go back to the beginning where we've got Clarissa finally, and we're back with Clarissa and Amos. And they've started to move along. They're headed to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It was gross to watch them going through. Gross in that it was suddenly Baltimore and that area of Maryland is nothing but marshland.
Yeah, and that old folks' home with all the bodies under the tarp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I could have done without the peeing scene.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird.
Well, it was realistic anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see her squatting. I didn't even know what they were doing. I was like, why is she squatting like that? And then at the end, I'm like, oh. Okay.
Oh, she's peeing. Okay.
Urination station.
But she does say she's feeling better because the meds are flushing out of her system now.
Yeah, she can taste things. She can feel. She can smell things.
Yeah.
She's starting to think a little clearer.
And Speaker brings up a good point. He says instead of being streaming flow to the story, it seemed to lurch from one scene to the next, leaving me feeling disjointed. Yeah.
Mm.
It feels like they've got a lot of loose ends to tie up with not a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, we've got 2 episodes left now. So it's like, wow. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I did like the way Amos was eyeballing that liquor when he was going up the stairs.
That was funny. I even said to Purple, I was like, oh, there's those tequila bottles again.
Get his priorities straight, yeah.
Focus, Amos.
Whatever you get at the end of this season, it's going to be a cliffhanger. There's no way they're going to wrap it up in 2 episodes.
No.
There's no way they can.
No.
So whatever you're going to get some type of cliffhanger, and then you're not going to get Alex back next year. So
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to do personally. I know that I'm very disappointed that Alex isn't coming back.
Yeah.
We're not going to get any kind of because we're not going to get any kind of conclusive end with Alex. Mm-hmm. Even if they killed the character off the very last second of this season, it's not going to be an end to his arc. So we're just shit out of luck on an arc of a character we have loved and cared about from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see they're steering it towards Naomi's ship with the Razorback and him on it. I just hope nothing, happens to Bobby, because, they got to get rid of his character. But then again, like they said, all this was shot beforehand. So, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was left up to editing. Battle Hymn 63. That's what we're going for. It was that scene with the Razorback when they got the message from Naomi, and he sent the mess, and Alex sent the message to the Rocinante. That's going to be the first ship to arrive, and that puts the Razorback in danger, especially if there's a proximity alarm that's going to set off the bombs on Naomi's ship.
Yeah. Actually, I think they got it to where it's going to overload the drive, and they're just going to lose containment in that field and just blow up.
Oh, like they did with the Zemaya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last episode. Yeah. Yeah, and that scene with Holden, Bull, and Monica looking through the Zemaya, looking for that proto-molecule, seemed out of place. Like they could have saved it.
Yes, it did feel a bit tacked on, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or it was out of sequence for the episode. It's like
Yeah.
they'd filmed it but didn't exactly know where to put it, so they just kind of shoved it in and then quickly jumped on to the next scene.
Yeah.
The proto molecule is still out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think Marco has got it on his ship. Or it's at least in one of the other ships in the flotilla. Not one that was expendable.
No, there's no way they would have allowed it to be destroyed like that.
And they still haven't, got any kind of, feedback or anything from, the Martian conspiracy with the Belters or anything like that. They've got so much to tie up. It's going to be hard to do. I mean, even getting close to explaining a little bit of what's going on.
That's true.
Yes.
Go
but
ahead.
I think even we were saying, I don't think we're going to get much more story about Clarissa and Amos. I think maybe the next episode, and that will be it for them for this season. Because obviously they're trying to get to Luna.
Yeah. Well, I was explaining to you what my theory was with that last night, is that they're going to get to Luna and he's going to get to Avasarala. In some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, that's they're headed for that. I guess the Hamptons in the future. And
yeah, I thought the same thing, Dave Bob.
Well, Avasarala will know as soon as they make it to Luna. Luna's under such a huge security increase right now because of what happened with Earth. As soon as that shuttle makes it to Luna, they're going to be like, whoa there, little shuttle, who the hell are you? So she'll know before Amos ever gets on the station. She will know Amos is there and Amos is coming aboard the station. So I don't even think they got to worry about that or do like a reveal where he like walks into her office or some shit. No, she's going to know the second he shows up on that scanner, they're going to inform her, hey, we've got this guy and he's saying he knows you and wants to come aboard and wants to get on Luna. And she's going to be like, oh yeah, get his ass on here now. Get his ass aboard now. It's we need him. This is the guy that'll kill anybody for us at the drop of a hat, and he loves me to death. Get him on board the station now.
The only problem is he's with Clarissa.
Yeah. So how are they going to solve the inmate problem? But I figure he'll figure out a way to get around it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can't see him abandoning her now after what they've gone through. Even if it does mean getting to Luna.
Mm-hmm. Consension Dildo says Alex is going to slip in the shower with the soap, the biggest death, bestest death ever. I saw that out of the corner of my eye and I'm just like, oh God.
Would it surprise anyone at this point? No.
No, not really. I mean, they've got to get rid of Kazanvar
Yeah, but
because of those shitty allegations.
I hate that because he is such a good actor. He plays that part to a T. I mean, I just love the way I love that character.
Do you think that they cut his role down in the season? That they maybe filmed a lot more with him, but only kept
Alex?
what was necessary?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the scene, everything was already shot. It was going into post when these allegations popped out. So they could have edited and whittled down his role just so they could get rid of him, which makes me sick.
Yeah.
Since there's no proof that he did anything, there's no news, there's no nothing.
Yeah, just kind of phasing him out and forget he was there.
Dr. Herku Monkey's got a good question. I haven't read the books. How close are they keeping to the story? I don't know.
I haven't read the books either.
No, I haven't.
I've got them, but I
will.
haven't read them.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for this season, the TV series to finish before I started reading them.
That was my plan as well. I did read book 4, which was a mistake. So I recommend finishing this TV series, then going back and reading the books. Sitroom says he did not have a big part in the book. So, okay, they may be keeping close to it.
Okay.
So, Sitroom, if you've read the books, cool. The more the more you can give us on the background, the better.
But no spoilers.
But no spoilers. We got 2 episodes left. Speaker for the Dead brings up a good point. I think they loaded the protomolecule into one of the torpedoes while firing at the Rocinante so they would lose it during the attack and allow Marco to retrieve it. That's a good idea.
Actually, you watch the scene, it goes the other way. It doesn't go toward the Rocinante.
That's true.
Mm.
I have to rewatch that scene from last week.
Yeah, Sentient Dildo agrees.
Mm-hmm.
Colin.
Maybe the Razorback will crash near a van by the river.
And find a plant.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Well, but then they would discover that the person in the van down by the river was related to the person who invented the protomolecule in the first place, Mikey Spock.
Of course.
In her Iron Man suit.
All roads lead back to Mikey Spock.
Mikey Spock, yeah. What was that, the Red Angel suit or whatever the hell that was? Oh. The best part about the episode for me was getting back to Drummer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Boy, she lost it. When she found out.
Oh, my God.
She found out Naomi, thinks Naomi is dead.
Her temper, I can't believe that her compadre stopped her.
Who else wants to see Drummer kill everyone, take out every station, destroy everything in all known existence, and just watch Drummer for the rest of the show? I'll do that.
I could get behind that.
I could definitely get behind that. I mean, she.
We need Amos with her, though. Amos has got to be there kicking ass, too.
Oh, hell yeah. Needs more Amos.
I don't know whether it's because Naomi's been used so much throughout this season, but she doesn't seem to be as interesting a character.
Nope.
Because we've seen so much of her.
Yeah, I think they've just focused on her too much this season so far.
Yeah. Well, especially these last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these were completely Naomi-centric.
And I wanted to see them focus more on Marcus and Philip.
That's what it's felt like. Like the only two storylines in this whole thing have been the only two main storylines anyway have been Marcos and Naomi. Marcos and Naomi. It's all been about Marcos and Naomi. Everyone else has taken a back seat. You did get that Amos episode that was mainly Amos on Earth, but that's like the only fucking thing you've gotten besides Marcos and Naomi.
Yeah. And both those storylines run parallel to each other, so there's a lot of crossover as well.
Yeah. They jumped all the other characters, they just jumped around, just little bits and pieces here and there. And, it leaves you, hanging and wanting more of the other characters for sure.
Mm-hmm. More Avasarala, more Drummer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And less Philip, because I'm really disliking Philip now.
Yeah. But there was a look of disgust and shock on his face, though, when his father said that he killed Sin.
Fault. Yeah, it was his fault that Sin.
That was his fault that Sin died. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they think Naomi's dead too. So.
Yeah. As they, should.
Yeah, but now so does. Well, at the end of the episode, this is kind of a skipping ahead a bit, but we find out Naomi's not dead. I'm like, uh-oh. But watching the tension with Drummer and her people.
Yeah, you can tell she is really regretting her decision.
Yeah. While everybody's trying to make the best out of a really bad situation, she's in full regret mode. Because she doesn't like having to answer to Marco Inaros. She hates him.
Well, it's like she said, her I guess her girlfriend told her, if we had walked away, they would be salvaging our ship and getting rid of our bodies.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why she's so resentful towards Marco, because he's pushed all of them into a situation. He's acted on all of their behalves. And so it's a case of if they don't join him, they're against him.
And I think they're about to get, the belt is about to suffer a pretty devastating blow.
Yeah. If they go ahead and destroy Palace Station, that's a pretty big deal. That's a lot of martyrs.
10 to 13,000, I think they.
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
Mm-hmm. They did, yeah. And that's what they seem to be kind of pushing towards, even though, even after the speech the pastor gives, he's kind of rallied everybody, and it's Avasarala that kind of says, I can understand why this course of action would benefit us, but I think it's the wrong course of action.
Mm-hmm. She said,
so they talk about Deimos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was a military base, not a civilian population.
Exactly. This chat just skipped on me, and Derek McManus had a point. There it is. Marco press ganging his navy will come back and bite them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they also mentioned the fact that the two ships and another one that were guarding the ring were more than a match for all Marco's ships.
Yeah, but not if the Donninger class Martian ship turns on the Earth ships. If the Donninger class Martian destroyer or carrier or whatever the hell it is turns on the Earth ships, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. And I think that's what they were headed for, Loki, was that they can't trust Mars. And I think even Avasarala points that out.
Yep. And that's immediately what I thought of was that Earth, that Martian ship, that Donninger class ship's going to turn on you.
Yeah. I wouldn't turn my back on the Martians right now because, it's like they've said somebody really high up is supplying him with these Martian vessels.
Oh yeah, they know it too. I mean, they know that there is someone really high up in the Martian, either military or government, that is dirty.
Oh yeah, they're just trying to figure out who. And they probably have with Bobby and her inside information.
Yeah, well, I'm betting it's the admiral that Amos liked.
Oh, the admiral that was teaching at the War College.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet you he's got a faction behind him that's doing all this. That's my take on it, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
But you can't deal with all that in 2 episodes and deal with Naomi's shit and put an end to this season. They're going to leave it on a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Just like last year with the rocks tumbling towards Earth.
Yeah. Well, do you think they'll split kind of like they did with Harry Potter? They split the last book into 2 pieces, so it'll be, while season 5 is supposed to be book 5, season 6 won't be season 6. It'll be the rest of the book 5.
Honestly, I think first couple of seasons were out of just 1 book, but that's what I heard anyway, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, Dave Bob. I don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, I haven't read them yet, so.
Yeah.
Derek McManus says the Mars faction are playing the long game. Yeah. And how's that going to backfire on Marcos, though? That's my question.
I think Marcos is going to get, of course, I haven't read the book, so it's entirely different, but I think Marcos is going to get his due eventually.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Japan, World War II, waking a sleeping giant.
And Sit Room says each season pretty much follows each book. So okay. Sit Room, you must have read them then.
Yes, I think Sit Room is one of the ones that's read them as well as watched.
Okay, that's good to know, because it's Sentient Dildos' first season and a half was first book. Okay. Again, I haven't read it. I've actually started reading the first book. Unfortunately, life has gotten in the way and I haven't been able to pick it up again to finish reading it. But yeah, I'm in the early days before the Rocinante even exists. The cant hasn't even gone the way of the dodo yet.
Sammy, you said you were getting a kind of sinister feel from Pastor. Do you think he's being manipulated, or do you think he's not nearly as kind of bumbling as he was making out to begin with?
I think he's nearly not. I think a little bit of both. Honestly, he's not as bumbling as we're made to believe at the first sighting of him 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been a couple of looks on his face, especially after his speech, when he's sitting down meeting with the cabinet, that he's kind of like, I know what's going on here. I've got, there's somebody, he's attached with somebody on Mars, because we know nothing about this guy except that he's, Secretary of Transportation.
Yes, and the way he made it out, he was well out of his depth in this new job, but all of a sudden he seems to have, blossomed, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's much more capable.
Yeah.
Even by the end of the first speech that he did, he had people rallying around him.
That's true. Oh, Cass Anvar's last check just tipped $1. Thank you, Cass Anvar's last check. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, guys.
You keep our fires burning here in our little corner of Valhalla. Thank you for that. And he says, for keeping an interest for the show. Thank you very much, Cass Anvar's last check.
Thank you.
Well, as slow as the last 2 episodes have been, it is so much better than a lot of the stuff out there that it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think even we were saying, the Expanse is very based on hard science, but even this season, and especially these last couple of episodes dealing with Naomi and her, being in the vacuum of space, have kind of stretched believability a little bit too far.
Yeah, and we were talking about that in the green room. Her going back and forth from compression to decompression should have been this side of impossible. Loki brought that up.
Yeah. She should have been. Okay, so taking how long she was in space, the fact that she had her eyes open, the fact that pretty much Dave Bob brought this up. She's going to have the bends. Her blood's going to be boiling. You would need time in a hyperbolic chamber to oxygenate your skin, your body, to heal what the damage that was done. Because you got to think, when you're in space, you're the oxygen that is in your blood, the oxygen that is in your lungs, the oxygen that is in your body wants to literally rip itself out of your body. So your body's basically trying to tear itself apart so the oxygen can be ripped out of you.
Yeah.
The fact she was in space that long with her eyes open was she shouldn't have any eyes left. They should have been pulled right out of her body and popped. That's why if you experience an explosive decompression in space, you're told to keep your eyes shut.
Right.
It's one of the things you were told is keep your eyes closed so your eyeballs don't get literally ripped out of your skull.
And expel all the air out of your lungs, or it will destroy your lungs.
Yes, you do not hold your breath. It's not like taking a deep dive where you're like, they tell you take a bunch of deep breaths and then hold your breath. No, you want to get rid of all the oxygen in your lungs. Close your eyes. The blood's still going to be in your blood, or the oxygen's still going to be in your bloodstream. You can't stop that from happening, but you can get all the air out of your lungs. Close your eyes and be balled up in the fetal position. That's what you want. You want to be balled up in the fetal position. You do not want to be pointed like an arrow at your target, which is exactly what she did. I expected more from people that know the science, that have known the science since day one. As we've said before on this show, the science of this show grabs you. The people keep you here. Well, they just took a big swipe at the science and said, we don't care. We're going to make Naomi look cool.
Right.
Well, that's a Michael Burnham thing, not a Naomi in the Expanse thing.
Yes.
Even with all of that, you have approximately 15 seconds of oxygen in your blood.
Right.
That's it.
Well, she stabbed herself. She stabbed herself with that oxygenation thing.
Even then, though, I mean, that might have stretched it to 20, 25 seconds, but.
Yeah.
But she was still scrabbling around trying to open the door. Then she had to get inside, shut the door, wait for it to decompress.
And then she does all this shit after the fact. No, you would be locked in a hyperbolic chamber for days. Or a hyperbaric. I said hyperbolic. Oh, my God. Hyperbaric chamber. You would be locked in a hyperbaric chamber for days. The doctors would lock you in and be like, listen, you're going to be in here for a couple of days. Chill out, relax, enjoy yourself while your body is healed and reoxygenated.
I'm going to tell you, folks, I mean, I've never had it happen, but I've talked to a few people that have actually got the bends, and it ain't no joke.
Nope.
That shit'll kill you.
Yeah, the bends is I know some divers, and they've talked to me about that and what it can really do to you. And I've got a couple that have had the bends, a couple friends, and it's just like, oh, we're spending some time locked up.
Yes. But even later on, when she finds out that the ship's been rigged and she's trying to stop the message or resend a message, she's constantly going into an environment that has no oxygen, so she's having to hold her breath. She's breathing carbon dioxide constantly, and this scene just goes on and on and on. And I know it's supposed to build tension.
That was lather, rinse, repeat. I mean, it went on for far too long. But she did get the message changed and then turned it off. I will give her that. She's a persistent little old thing.
think she acted very well. You know, she's obviously Dominic Tipper is very gifted as an actress, but I don't know. It's just stretched credibility just a little bit too much. Just like you were saying, the science has been put to one side for kind of the wow factor.
Yeah.
And they did that with Burnham. Burnham has almost the exact same scene in STD where she's flying through space without a suit, with her eyeballs open, looking at her target. No.
Get the newspaper. No.
And you copied that. You freaking copied that. You're the Expanse. You're not Star Trek. Star Trek copies shit now. You don't. You lead the way. Lead the way. Don't copy it, please.
Right. I hope they're not doing that. I really do.
Me too. I hope it was just a little wobble.
Yeah.
On their part, but
well, I actually watched the after show last week, and the producer or the showrunner.
Oh yeah, Ty Frank. Yeah, I saw the same. I saw the after show.
All of that and everything else, but well, maybe so, but he didn't research it good enough.
Well, it's like, where was the science team? You know.
Yeah, they do have a dedicated science team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they do. Adam Savage is part of that science team from Mythbusters. Hell, he was even in season 2. So, you know, and a little bit of season 3, but only as an Easter egg. Sentient Dildo says the scene is from the book. They're not copying STD. So maybe STD is copying them since the book has been out longer than I think Star Trek Discovery's been around.
Would that surprise anyone?
No. Because The Expanse is actual science fiction. I don't know what Star Trek Discovery is.
Fantasy.
It's something, Dave Bob. I'm just not sure what. It's like, oh, okay. Whatever. But I'll be interested to watch this week's after show and see what they have to say about this part of the science, because you know what Loki is saying is true. There's no way she'd be able to decompress like that.
Nope.
And still be alive.
Nope. They'd throw her ass in a hyperbaric chamber. Hyperbaric chamber. Oh my god, I did it twice.
That's hyperbole.
Hyperbolic. Oh Lord, I've lost all street cred now.
Just say a decompression chamber with highly oxygenated atmosphere.
Yeah, highly oxygenated decompression chamber. Thank you.
There you go.
Oh shit.
But overall, for you guys, what Battle Hymn says? Hold on. Battle Hymn says STD was SJW fantasy, or is SJW fantasy. Yeah, it is. Thank God it's over, at least for now. But thank God it's over. But so we've kind of touched on everything in this episode we really needed to.
I'm sorry. This was kind of a slog for me, guys. I know some people would probably argue that, but it was kind of boring. I love the bits with Drummer. I love the bits with Amos. I love the bits with Alex, even though we only got Alex. I love the bits with Abba Sarala. The shit with Naomi. I'm just like, guys, end this now, and don't continue this all next season, because if you do, I'm going to be very disappointed. We're going to have a Game of Thrones type ending where it's just like, oh, really? Did you guys really go? You had awesome, powerful girl characters already, and you're going to make this completely Naomi centric for the last season.
Yeah.
No,
someone said in the chat earlier, and it was a while back, that book 5 is mostly Naomi's story anyway. So, but the problem is, it's like at this point, at least on screen, it's a little bit too much.
Well, it's like he said, it's just a slog. You know, you're just trying to get through it.
Yeah, these 2 episodes. Yeah, when Naomi wasn't on screen, it moved really quickly.
It did, yeah. It was much more interesting. It was much more engaging. And
It
somebody
was much
did say,
easier on the eyes,
yeah, it did.
to be honest. And I mean, I'm on my third watch of it. I'll watch it again later today to see if I missed anything. But even this morning when I was watching it for the third time, I fast forwarded through some of the Naomi scenes because they just got too repetitive. I was more interested to see what Amos was up to, and we only got Alex for 2 minutes.
I'll have to say I fast forwarded it through all of her scenes the second time I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did because it was just too repetitive for me.
I liked the bit where she finally gets the message out. I thought it was very clever the way they did it. It was just dragged out too long.
Yeah.
I like that, she finally manages to change the message to, this is Naomi Nagata, tell James Holden I'm in control.
Yeah.
So by cutting out little bits of the original message, she manages to rework it, which was clever.
Now, Chris Persia has a good question. And this is I'll post this for everybody on the panel. Serious question here. I didn't watch the latest episode because I forgot. That's okay. But I want to know, should I watch this? Should I watch it or just wait for next week? I honestly think you could wait for next week, Chris.
You didn't miss a whole lot.
I'd say watch it. Just because it's a good show. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
But these last 2 episodes, we have struggled a little bit.
I mean,
I know somebody said that it's hard to listen to us talk about it and complain. Well, just because we love the show doesn't mean we're going to give it a pass.
That's true. Expanse fans are pretty hard on that show.
I expect a lot. I expect a lot from the show. And I expect them to keep doing what they've been doing, which is give us a great show. So if you hear me complain about this show, it's because I have a complaint. It's not because I want to bitch. It's not because I don't want to complain about any show. I don't want to complain about STD. I end up complaining about STD because it's shit. I expect more out of The Expanse. Maybe I expect too much. I don't know. But I expect the best out of The Expanse.
So do I. It's got to be held to a different standard.
It is. And if you look back on the previous seasons, the standard has been extraordinarily high. It's been consistently good. And even the first part of the season was very good. It's just these last 2 episodes.
This season definitely has not lived up to the last 4. Well, actually, 4 was actually kind of it was okay, but it wasn't like the first 3 seasons. The first 3 seasons were the shits, man. I mean, they were.
Yeah, I can easily go back and watch the first 3 seasons and not have a problem. 4 was harder to watch because it didn't seem like there was as much going on. But once they did get to Illis and got to the got a little further into season 4, it rolled a little bit faster. Louise Sparrow, good morning. Actually, good afternoon. You're in Britain. She says, I didn't find it slow. I think it's just not balanced enough between the characters where they're all in different storylines. Somebody else said that in the chat as well, because it jerks around a lot because not everybody is on the Rocinante at the same time. The whole crew is split up. So that makes a huge difference.
Ping pongs all around.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There were parts of this episode I really enjoyed, but there were a lot of parts that were just way too long, went on far too long, and just not couldn't hold my interest. I'll just put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, Derek, I think it was bad editing.
Yes. I think also, obviously, they're constrained time-wise with and trying to. There's so many little characters and so many things going on at once. It's very hard for them to kind of give everyone the screen time and keep the story moving forward.
Yeah.
But I have high hopes for the next episode.
Yeah, I wish they would give us previews for next time on the Expanse.
Yeah.
But we're not getting that because it's not on TV anymore. So Essential Dildo says it's not editing, it's Naomi's character.
WandaVision gave us a preview.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, yeah. Chris Bergia. Go ahead, hon.
I was just saying, yeah, he said, I guess we have to go through the bad as well as the good. I'll keep my fingers crossed as they tighten things up for the next 2 episodes.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure they'll do better. They have such a good writing team, and the actors are great actors. It's just right now, for whatever reason, it's just a little disjointed.
Yeah. I think because we have the crew split up, it skips around too much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least these last 2 episodes did. Prior to that, I didn't get that feeling. So episodes 7 and 8 have kind of been a little bit of a 8 was better than 7. Sentient Dildo, that's a good point. Naomi's not interesting enough on her own. She needs the Rossi crew or drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, even when she was with Philippa Marker, it was a more interesting dynamic. It's when she has to carry the scenes by herself. I think it falls down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anytime you put drummer in a scene, she's going to suck the oxygen out of the room.
Oh, God, yeah. She chews the scenery, but in a good way.
So Naomi's got no problem with having oxygen sucked out of the room, apparently.
Nope.
Yeah, that'll be
Well, at least somebody caught the joke.
Naomi's best with drummer, yeah. Well, with her belters. I mean, it's not that she sucks with the crew of the Rocinante, because she doesn't, but when she was on what's now Medina Station or the Behemoth, she was really rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty damn amazing.
Anytime she's in, like last week with Sin, and with her son, I mean, those good moments and everything,
Mm-hmm.
This week when she's on her own like that, like I said, plus it just went on way too long.
Yeah. Well, we had 2 episodes of the same director bringing in her vision, I guess, for what she wanted to see through the script. So, Lady Miss, it hasn't grabbed my interest like other seasons. I'm not looking forward to it like before. Sad face. Aw. I still watch it. Just lost the excitement after the last 2 episodes. Okay, same. In a little bit of a way, I was sort of dreading watching last night's episode or today's episode, because I was so let down by last week's episode.
Mm.
Yeah.
What would you guys give it out of 10, since that's all we've been kind of doing? And keep it pretty much on par with last week's episode?
Actually, I'm only going to give it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Because I agree. I agree. Someone said that earlier. I agree that it's not that it's slow and dragging. It's that they're focusing too much on one person. And I don't know, how much have we seen Holden this season? What, like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
I'd give it a grand total of half an hour.
Maybe,
if you went through all the way through the first episode, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The rest of this has been almost completely Naomi centric. And I understand you've got to deal with that with Marco, but we have a crew here. And that is the biggest complaint about STD is that it almost completely focuses on Mikey Spock and nobody else. That is not why we're watching The Expanse. We're watching The Expanse for all of these great characters, not just one of these characters.
Yeah, it's definitely an ensemble, and you gotta keep it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, and Lady Miss brings up a good point. Maybe it's because there seems to be nothing new with the proto-molecule. Yeah, considering what a huge role it played in previous seasons, we've barely... Well, I don't even think we've seen it on screen, have we? This season?
Yeah, just
Briefly.
that one where they broke it out of his cabin. But the thing about it is they're treating it more as a weapon now instead of anything, just as almost like a, an H-bomb or something,
Yeah. But yeah, they weaponized it. Yeah. I mean, Mars did that in conjunction with the doctors when they discovered the protomolecule. And Jules Pierre Mao and his brilliant idea to weaponize it and bring in these super soldiers, make these super soldiers out of these kids. It was freaking ridiculous. But that's what kept me coming back. It's like, what are they going to do? And we haven't seen anything of the protomolecule yet. And we only have 2 episodes to go.
Yes, and they do keep mentioning it. We do get very brief scenes, even in the episode we just watched. It was briefly mentioned, but again, we haven't actually seen anything of it or really know where it is.
We have an idea, but we don't know where it is. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm almost sure that it was on one of the torpedoes that were fired at the Rossi, because I seem to remember one of them going the opposite way than the ones that were going towards the Rossi.
I'll have to go back and look at that, Dave Bob, because I think you might be right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dave Bob's correct on that one.
Yeah, they pre-fired some missiles and they went the opposite direction, then rapid fired the rest of the missiles. It's a possibility. We can put it out there. So for me, I'm giving the episode a 5. That's the same I gave it last week. Because for me, it wasn't completely horrible, but it still just didn't flow right.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It was very choppy. And it did seem like, I think we said right at the beginning, it was an episode of 2 halves.
Yep.
And you know what? Maybe if this wasn't The Expanse, I would give it a higher score, but because it's The Expanse and because I expect such good things out of this, I'm gonna treat it a little harder than I would other shows, because I expect so much good coming out of this. I mean, this has been a hell of a ride, and this last season has felt kind of like the track before you pull into the station where you're slowing down, and I don't like that. I don't.
Yes, we should be, building up to a huge kind of crescendo at this point with only 2 episodes left.
Yeah, and we're not. It seems like it's slogged down.
Yes.
Unless they pull a rabbit out of their hat, this is going to be a disappointing season.
Here's hoping that that's not the case.
You can see where it's heading, obviously, with Naomi's ship and the Rocinante and the Razorback. But are we going to get there, or is that going to be the cliffhanger for the next season?
So, there's definitely going to be a cliffhanger, and it's going to be most likely with the Razorback, I would think.
You think so, Dave Bob?
I think so. That's what I've been saying for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, true. Yeah, you have been. Guilty as charged, my friend. But on that note, we will wrap it up because it's almost the top of the hour and everybody's got to get going and get their days going. So thanks everybody in the chat for joining us today. Thank you, boys, for being on with us, Loki and Dave Bob. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you for
guys.
having me.
And we will see. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about Friday, but we'll
think
be
of
back
something.
on Friday. We'll figure out something between now and then. We've got 48 hours to figure it out.
It's all good. So huge thank you to the chat. Thank you to Loki and Dave Bob. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, boys. And we will see you guys Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grab it for the graces. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.